Alright, hello and welcome to the first episode of MicroNews. Today, this is the first episode and pilot episode of the show, and if it does not get much attention, I will probably discontinue it. But first, let's start with some latest headlines from the micronational world. Today at 8 p.m., the first McCarthyian elections in McCarthyian history opened. The elections are for the public representative seats to win in the McCarthyian Parliament. These will form the McCarthyian Parliament later. President Kit McCarthy, as President of McCarthy, and Horatio Eden, representative of Bosconia, both already have their seats assigned to them because of their positions. There are 6 candidates. From the Classical Liberal Party, James Frisch and Richard Hitholiday. From the National Progressive Party, Patrick Renwick, Ian Nolan, and Mike Lewis, and independent Michael Nowacki. It is impossible to say who is ahead, but most likely because of the candidates will vote for their own party, it is guaranteed to say that there will be at least 1 vote for Michael Nowacki, 2 votes for the National Progressive Party, and 3 votes for the CLP. Some more headlines. Apparently, the civil war in Hodony has ended. As stated by the Grand Duchy of Hodony, the seceder, he doesn't sign treaties because he isn't really serious about micronationalism. Now, here he is obviously talking about what's going on in Hodony right now, which is apparently a civil war between Hodony and the rogue justice of the court of Hodony. And yesterday at 23 US time, the civil war in Hodony was ended. There was not very much details about the end, but what we do know is that there used to be rogue justice seceded and claims to have not signed a treaty because he doesn't take micronationalism seriously. The end of the war was also the result of the seceder returning his land and nation to the US. The seceder seceded, but he was the one that actually surrendered. So the Grand Duchy believes, in fact, he did secede, and the war is apparently now halted to an end. Some more latest news from the micronational world is that the Grand Unified Micronational is reviving. And yesterday, President Kit McCarthy of McCarthy posted a thread stating that, in a shocking twist, the Grand Unified Micronational appears to be returning to the micronational stage. The GUM has apparently been inactive for a while, as well as it has been dissolved, and this has caused some worry among several nations in the community. It has been officially restarted by His Imperial Majesty Jonathan I of Australasia, President Kit McCarthy of McCarthy, and a few others. Well, I personally was not around when it was at its peak, since I only signed up a few days ago, but I can't tell you much apart from the fact that it was like a micronational UN, except the United Micronations, which Michael and many other nations is part of. There was a few UM organizations, but most of them are now inactive and they went YAMO. But the very missed GUM is now returning to the stage of micronations. And yesterday, the MicroNews sat down with President Kit McCarthy of McCarthy to ask him some questions. So, Mr. McCarthy, what do you think the GUM will serve in the community? Well, I think that the return of the GUM will serve a very important purpose. The community needs a focal point, especially amongst younger nations. There is a need for a central driving point of activity to ensure micronation.org doesn't become stagnant. If it is done carefully, I think that the new GUM will play a vital part in the next era of the community. Mr. McCarthy, how do you feel about the GUM arrival? Are you excited? Indeed I am, yes. As I say, if this goes well, there's a huge potential for regrowth in the community. Why do you believe it was inactive for so long, Mr. McCarthy? Well, because there was never any movement to restart it. Restarting it was always possible, but no one seemed to believe it practical. Do you think it will have an influence over other nations? As in, will it play like a big role in some nations' government? Well, as to that, I am not sure. It would certainly, however, be a mistake for the GUM to interfere in other nations' affairs. Also, the McCarthyian Malntert was Malntert, I don't know how to pronounce it, was published a few days ago. And in a statement online, President McCarthy called it well, I was laughing at this for quite a while, a 28-page, 11,092-word, .11 single-spaced collection of legal impenetrability. and later said that it took him 2 days, and that includes him sitting up until 3 in the morning to write it up. And the Mindset is basically like a book of do and don'ts. It contains the Constitution, the government policies, the laws, and all the rules of McCarthyia. And the Constitution has already been rewritten once. So that's all for this episode of MicroNews. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like this video, share it with all your micronational fellas, and expect a new episode. Thank you for listening.